Well, it's finished. Arsenal 2, Nottingham Forest 1. That is a massive result at the start of the season for Mikel Arteta's side to beat a tough Nottingham Forest side that were playing at points, sort of 7, 8, 9 men behind the ball, and obviously at the very end of the game picked up a very, very scary goal at the Emirates. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's be completely real. This is a must-win game after Man City's 3 points at Burnley. I know it's crazy saying that. We're 1 week into the Premier League. It's August. But the kind of standard that we saw from City on Friday night was really, really impressive in terms of how City got over the line. And Arsenal had to match that stride for stride, a draw today. And suddenly you already feel handicapped if you were Arsenal. And they actually got off to one of the worst starts imaginable. Brennan Johnson kind of went through from a long header that kind of bounced under the feet of Timber, I think it was, who kind of left it. And that would be a big shock to... Well, that would be a massive shock to Timber, the kind of aggressiveness, the second balls, the headers that go over the top and in behind you, and the runners in the Premier League, completely different to Dutch football, completely different to European football in terms of that energy. And he got caught out a little bit, I think it was, between him and Saliba. And then Brennan Johnson absolutely butchers it. And it's one of them where, if the keeper's a bit closer, you absolutely say fair play. It's a tight one, but he had enough time to take it around Ramsdale. You had enough time to aim at the goal. You didn't do that, which critically is what you need to do when you're running through on goal like that. So it was a massive opportunity missed for Nottingham Forest, and really they should have been 1-0 up. That is the reality. That's how good the opportunity was. And they should have been 1-0 up. And then after that, Arsenal got into the groove of things. They were controlling the game. I thought Declan Rice was fantastic. Odegaard, fantastic. Kai Havertz, absolutely exceptional as well. Their midfield will be a real force. If they all stay fit this season, they will be a real force. They will get themselves back into games because of that midfield, and they'll crush sides 3, 4, 5-0 because of that midfield. It's probably the best midfield in the league, or at least joint best with Man City on its day, because I really do like Declan Rice and Odegaard, and then Thomas Partey as well, obviously tucked in more of a kind of inverted role today. But they had so much control, and in the kind of 20 minutes after that opportunity from Brennan Johnson, fantastic isolation from Martinelli. He isolates, I think it's Serge Aurier, or it might be Bowley, but one of those two gets kind of pulled out from Nottingham Forest. And Martinelli does his kind of 360 no-scope, feeds it into Eddie Nketiah, who might have been a little bit surprised to start today. I know Jesus isn't fully fit and all that, but I think Eddie Nketiah, wasn't really starting many games as soon as Jesus came back. Comes in and scores that goal, hits it hard, hits it true at the keeper. Should the keeper, obviously Turner, be doing more? Absolutely, he should be. I thought he was pretty poor today, actually. Didn't feel very confident for me. If I was a Forest fan, I wouldn't be massively confident about him in goal. I think they need someone like a Dean Henderson to come in Nottingham Forest. We'll talk about them in a minute. But once it's 1-0 to the Arsenal, you do think it's opportunity over for Nottingham Forest. They should have been 1-0 up themselves. They weren't, and then it was a bit of a mountain to climb. And then a few minutes later, we're talking about one of the best wingers in world football, if not the best for some people, Bukayo Saka. He curls it in from 25 yards. It's an unbelievable finish. It's not just a curler. It's not just a pile driver. It's a mixture of both. He absolutely kills Turner. I mean, should Turner have done a little bit better? Maybe. But he's absolutely murdered the keeper there. And it's an unbelievable goal from Bukayo Saka. And that's just the reality of the situation. In that first half, I thought Arsenal were absolutely fantastic. Declan Rice had a couple of shots. And Declan Rice this season will pick up a few goals, mark my words, because of how much higher up he is. At West Ham, he had to do so much work defensively. So much of his creative work was creative to get West Ham out of a jam, to get them out of their own half. With Arsenal, he doesn't need to do that. Saliba will do that for him. Ben White will do that for him. Odegaard will give him opportunities on the edge of the box. He'll be the last man from the edge of play. When Saka's man marked, when Martinelli's taken up, Jesus is taken up, the player on the edge of the box, look at Rodri against Inter Milan, where Inter Milan defended every single person. There's one player you can't pick up, and that's the extra man in midfield, which is usually the defensive midfielder in these situations, and Declan Rice will be that 9 times out of 10. So he will be picking up a lot more opportunities than he did at West Ham. I back him to score a few more goals. He found a few opportunities in the first half. And apart from that, look, his control of games is fantastic. He doesn't lose the ball. He's perfect for Arsenal. He really is. And I've made jokes about Gareth Barry. People think I was being sort of serious about that. Obviously taking the piss, but One thing you can say about Gareth Barry, he never lost the ball. When he got on it, he played it simple, he kept sides in the game because he wasn't rushing passes from midfield. You do feel that someone's party at points. At the back end of last season, when they were struggling, was culpable of losing the ball too many times and trying things in too risky a fashion. I don't think Declan Rice will do that. I thought he was absolutely electric against Nottingham Forest. It's a great Premier League debut. Don't forget, a lot of pressure, and Arsenal fans, whether for right or for wrong, have a lot of expectation on this Arsenal side. In the second half, Arsenal will be needing to kill these sides off at the Emirates. Forest and loads of other clubs in that similar kind of vein, the Palaces of the world, the Brightons. They will always find a way of scoring one or two chances. And in these games, I've seen it. City and United fans can attest to it as well, and Liverpool. These smaller clubs, with all due respect, that come to the Emirates, come to Etihad, they know they're only going to get one chance or two chances. So when the chance comes, they actually have more kind of focus, and you feel that they kind of score. They score these chances more often than if they had 20 against a lesser opposition in the FA Cup, for example. So obviously Nottingham Forest do get that opportunity. I mean, the speed of the counter-attack that feeds the ball into Awoniyi, absolutely unbelievable. I think it was a mixture of Morgan Gibbs-White, Brennan Johnson. I think it was Brennan Johnson bombing down the left wing. Might be Morgan Gibbs-White, one of the two. Feeds the ball into Awoniyi, who finishes off with, back end of last season, he was picking up goals, helped Forest stay in the league. He'll be a good little poacher for Forest if he stays fit this season, and he'll be kind of the difference between him and the promoted sides, him and other sides around them getting relegated. And they've got a good side. I mean, I looked at Morgan Gibbs-White today. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. His energy, his work rate was great. And then Brennan Johnson, I know he missed that chance in the first half, but he's got quality as well. So this Nottingham Forest side, they're decent. They hung in there. Cooper's got a good organisational understanding, and it could have been 3-4-5 the way Arsenal were playing today, and they minimised it to a 2-1 scrappy result. It looks a lot more scrappy than it was. And let's be real, Forest had a chance. Morgan Gibbs-White I think it was on his left foot, 5 minutes from full time. If he scores that, suddenly it's a 2-2 draw, and it's a very, very good result for Nottingham Forest. But the proof is in the pudding. Arsenal have got 3 points on the board. They're now just behind City. You have to get max points from Forest first game of the season. You have to in this. You can't afford to drop points in the first month of the season. I think it's going to be that kind of Premier League campaign. And let's be completely real. Between Martinelli's unbelievable quality for the first goal, Saka's unbelievable pace and finish for the second goal, and then anything that's whoever's down the middle, even if it is Kai Havertz, who I thought was a little bit ropey today, whoever it is down the middle, they're going to get so many chances. There's so much quality. People talk about Arsenal's transfer strategy. Should they have signed this, that, or the other? The reality is they've spent a load of money, but they've also got players that have got an extra season under their belt. They're a young squad, Arsenal. The likes of Ben White, Saliba, they're older, they've got more experience. I thought Timber was fantastic today, despite the fact he got injured, unluckily. Arsenal fans will be desperate he's not out for too long. So they've got this mixture of the great youth that they already have there. They're getting older, they're getting more experience, they're going into their prime, plus the signs that have come in that have clearly made a difference. I think Declan Rice, absolutely fantastic. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, we really appreciate it. Arsenal are back to winning ways, and it's going to be a big Premier League title race to follow.